welcome. Wow, sound like you just dipped your microphone into the pizza.
No. I'm just trying not to, because I'm chewing when you hit the button. I'm like, oh.
Okay, try that again. Welcome to the noisy PrinnyCast Roundtable, a weekly show where we talk about the various musings in the world of gaming and geekdom from over the last week. You'll notice some background noise, probably worse than usual, and I'll explain that in a second. But first, I'm your host, Chris. This is Mike.
Hello.
No one-liners this week, huh?
No.
No. And Grover.
Oh shit, I forgot mine too.
It's an epidemic!
I mean, hello!
And Boss Etna will not be directing us through text messages, and we will not be joined by Randall, so a little explanation of why the video looks absolutely horrid right now. My computer is not liking summer. It hasn't liked summer since it had to go.
Whoa!
Are you launching stuff with a pop bottle?
No, I just opened my ale.
Well,
I wasn't expecting it to be that loud.
But yeah, my temperatures have been, for both the core and the GPU and some of the other stuff on my hard drive, has been fluctuating between 160 and 215 degrees. And it's not something I've been able to control whatsoever. And so last week's episode, as short as that was, it took 3 tries for Vegas to compress that video because the overheating shut down my computer. So it's either this particular look right now, which I'm hoping actually works, or we're going to be taking summer vacation away from PrinnyCast unless one of these guys want to try their hand at the graphics for the show.
Yeah.
I think they're a little too busy for that right now. Mike's back from his move and getting all settled with new jobs and such.
Mm-hmm. 2 of them.
I think that you're having fan failure on your GPU and CPU.
And it's had some damage because of the heat wave we had a couple of years ago. And you know, running computers in Mackay is a bad idea in the first place. I am all but certain the reason why Mackay never had much of an internet in the first place is they did used to have a server system, probably, and that is one of those pools of lava that's sitting outside. I could bet you it was a meltdown. So yeah,
meltdown.
Just a big pool of lava out there. Hopefully no techs were lost in the process. But yeah, start off with the bad news right away. Most anybody that's a gamer already knows about this, but Satoru Iwata passed away from the complications that he's had since, I guess it's been about 2 years now that he's been fighting that thing on his neck, and it's the reason he hasn't been to the last 2 E3s. And they'd always played it down that it wasn't a serious thing, but I guess it actually was. So it kind of makes Mario's 30th anniversary a little bittersweet.
It was his bile duct growth.
Yeah, he had the early stages of pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, he'd been treated for it before, but I guess it just reoccurred.
Having to deal with, that kind of stuff with bile and the gallbladder and pancreas, and yeah, I can't, that just sucks.
And trying to put up with the image that Nintendo's been fighting out of, and a lot of people blaming him for it. Mike, you were going to say something?
Just try not to remember him through a sad outlook, because he was always someone that wanted to have fun. Even in his, adult being a company president man, he was always wanting to have fun, and I think that's how he'd want to be remembered.
Which is sadly how most people kind of knew him. They didn't really know him much from his HAL Lab days, which is sad, because HAL Labs was one of those major forces behind Nintendo back in those days.
It was.
He made Earthbound. That's all you need to know.
I don't think he made it. I think he was just. Yeah, he
worked on a lot of it. Bound wouldn't be Earthbound if it weren't the way it wasn't for him.
For some of the happier news, the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter was a success. We kind of knew that because just 9 days after it had already set 2 records by reaching its $2 million goal. But finally ended this week, and it broke a second record for Kickstarter for a video game at $6.3 million by the end of its run. And yeah, Evo weekend. So you know what I'll be doing all weekend. It's my Super Bowl. Once the cast is done, and I'll probably be shut up in a little room watching streams.
I'll try to watch some of it. I'm working all weekend, so I probably won't get to see anywhere near as much as you'll get to.
And there's so much Smash Brothers going on. There's Melee and Wii U going at the same time right now. And then a lot of Comicon stuff that didn't get mentioned last week. I'm sure there's leaks around for these 2 trailers, but I would advise waiting for an official release because anytime these trailers are leaked, you know it's going to be shaky phone cam stuff. So save yourself and wait for the good stuff. But X-Men Apocalypse apparently had a trailer there, and the Warcraft movie finally has a real trailer, and apparently it was very disappointing. Very underwhelming and very CG heavy.
Anyone who expected it to not be CG heavy was fooling themselves.
Oh yeah.
I'm still, keeping the hype about it because it's exciting for me.
Well, the story's still going to be good because Blizzard has had a heavy hand in working with this. This is why they've waited so many years until somebody could finally do what they wanted instead of taking off with their own vision of it and trying to make it Hollywood. At least that's what I'm hoping for. And then we get to Suicide Squad. So I wasn't even expecting a trailer for it yet, because there was only confirmations of some of the actors I thought just a couple of months ago. So a trailer, I figured they'd put all of their money on Superman vs. Batman until it was finished, because even it's got a 2016 release date. So, for those who don't know, Suicide Squad is basically a government organization that throws together a bunch of captured supervillains from the DC universe to force them into stuff that nobody else wants to do and can take credit for. So, I'd seen the animated movie that they came out with a couple of years ago, and that was surprisingly very, very good. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. So, I at least knew a little more about Suicide Squad than I did 3 years ago. Going into the trailer, it was kind of hard to recognize who was supposed to be who. The problem for me came with, okay, this could be good, but I know there was a screenshot of what the Joker was going to look like, and I was really worried about this. And now I'm even more worried about this.
He looks...
This is the saddest Joker I have ever seen, and I know that you've got a lot of Jokers in the past, live action and cartoon, that are very difficult to play against, so maybe that's why they made him this way, but I am thoroughly disappointed. Even the trailer kind of built it up of, oh my goodness, this is the Joker, he's going to be more insane than ever, and it's kind of like, no, it kind of reminds me of the vampire dude from the first Blade movie. Whoop-de-doo. Does anybody remember that villain? Not really.
Yes, I do.
I'm going to reserve judgment because people didn't think Heath Ledger was right for the Joker. He
Yeah, but
pulled
that's
it off
before
really
they
well.
saw him. When they saw him, I was like, oh my goodness, that is awesome. Oh, no.
I saw the trailer and I was like, that's the Joker, but I'm not going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe that's the Joker. It's going to be terrible. I'm not going to do that to it because
I'm going to see how he acts.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right to judge a performance before you actually see the whole performance. Being worried about it, I understand. I kind of am. I mean, I'm not so worried about it that I'm going to go see them.
I'm going to go see it.
I'm totally going to go see it.
If I can think that Ben Affleck might be a good Batman, then I can try for this guy, at least.
And then a little crossover thing that's actually happened before. I've had to remind some people, this is not the first time that these two franchises have come together, but there's going to be a graphic novel for Street Fighter vs. G.I. Joe. Bison and Cobra. There you go. But there was a G.I. Joe toy line, Street Fighter, back in the 90s.
I do remember that.
That's the thing.
My brother had Guile. I remember that.
I had quite a few of them. I don't think I had the whole set. But yeah, that was my week in a nutshell. You guys got anything else?
Daredevil.
Finally
watched it. I couldn't stop. Every chance I got, I watched it until it was done. It was really good. I was very surprised. I was very, very pleased with, I can't remember his name. His last name starts with a D, and it's got an apostrophe in it. The guy that plays Wilson Fisk.
Oh, D'Onofrio.
Yes. I was very happy with his presentation on Kingpin. Thought it was very fitting. You know, I can't honestly say that I was very displeased with anyone's character acting. I didn't even mind Karen Page too much. And most of the pretty girl type characters in superhero shows and movies, I don't much care for them. Most of the acting is not that great. It's either over the top or underperformed. She was about right. A little bit over the top in some instances, but it was pretty good.
I would imagine it's kind of difficult to play those sort of characters, though.
I think it would be. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'd be like, I don't get to be the guy in the mask. Next, please.
I am kind of curious how it's going to tie into the bigger universe. Glad to hear that there is a season 2 just playing out. But it hasn't tied too much into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it does tie in a little bit because I don't know how far into the series you are yet. Did you get the guy that touched stuff and could transform into whatever element he touched?
Yes.
If you pay attention to who his dad fought, and you remember the backstory of the Creed character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's him. Oh. And that's not the only thing. I don't think this is too much of spoilery territory for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because that was kind of early in their show run. But the same orphanage that Sky's character stayed at is the same orphanage that Daredevil's character stayed at.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Were they there at the same time, supposedly?
Considering their ages, probably.
Wow. Well, that would be interesting.
Okay.
Don't know what that was.
Oh my god, did you hear that?
Yeah.
That was me drinking water, I'm sorry.
Oh.
It kind of sounded like it, Chuck, and I was starting to worry that, okay, Mikey's with that ale.
No. I've still got my bottle, not even halfway done, so.
Really, because you can't really say what we played. I'm saying, damn it, Chris, damn you to hell for showing me Trimps. Because, just like Cookie Clicker, I was like, I'll give it a look, and yeah, that's been going on ever since.
It's been about a week, hasn't it? Like Tuesday at the latest?
Yep, Tuesday I started playing, and it's interesting. Usually I can just leave it alone now, but at the beginning of every reset, you have to sit there and stare at it for a while and make sure that your resources sources are not overflowing.
But alas, because of the computer issues, I guess the sooner we wrap up, the better this time. The whole reason for the background noise is there is 2 fans, one of which is a box fan sitting on my computer at the moment. My air conditioner is about as much as I can handle it right now because it's kind of freezing up a little bit, and with a box fan near it to push it toward me and the computer, so there's a lot of background noise and I can't avoid it this time. So
I am actively trying to pressure Chris into attempting a Patreon.
yes.
See if we can
I'll
get just a little bit.
I don't see it working for the PrinnyCast itself. We just don't have enough of a footprint on the internet for anybody to even notice. But I do have a sizable music channel, and that might pick up something.
Yeah, I was saying mix them both together, because you do music for the cast, too.
But anyway, we will try to be back next week, and if not, you'll know why we're taking a little bit of a vacation. Stop talking. Let everybody go. You're all free now. Sorry, I've been watching Spooky again. He's handling Evo. So I'm getting back to my Evo. Yeah, well, I do some editing.
Right.
And everybody else, have a safe July. Don't burn up out there. No more sunburns, Grover.
Oh, I'll see what I can do about that.
Have fun, be safe, drink responsibly, party hard. I don't know what else to go with there.
Be excellent to each other.
Stay in school.
Be cool, stay in school. Winners don't use drugs.
Exactly.
Later, dudes.
Later.